Good evening, everybody. We are running the World Record Webinar Series 2. Today is the 61st day, and today we will listen from Dr. Ishrat Mirzana Madam, who is from Hyderabad, Telangana. She will speak on role of robotics in every field. As we are knowing that she is not new for this dais. Last time she was also invited to join here as a resource person. With the same, we requested her to join here to share her knowledge on role of robotics in every field. Thank you to you, madam, from our institute and college, and welcome to you all. Also today joining members IQC coordinator Dr. Sanjay Kale sir, Anita Dhole madam, Prashant Ugade sir, Praveen Udge sir, all the participants, those who are joined from Maharashtra and out of Maharashtra. We are all eager to listen from the resource person, because robotics is new for those who are from other than science faculty. So how the robotics are, how they are working, and what are the role of the robotics in every field nowadays, she will explain step by step. Welcome, madam. Please you start your webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Good evening, one and all. Hope you had a wonderful day. And before you have a wonderful weekend, let's explore the role of robotics in every field. That's my topic. I'm very thankful to Bedkar sir and also Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya also for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this World Record Series too. I welcome you all on behalf of the Kumaraswamy Mahavidyalaya, OSA, and also from my end. Thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Before we step into the topic and understand about it, let me just know, when you use the word robotics, what clicks to your mind? So we have a next slide wherein I request you to go to menti.com. Use the code 83027789. One second. I hope you have opened the menti.com. Are you able to see the code?
Not, madam, you have not shared the screen.
Okay, one second, sir. Yeah, are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Menti.com. Use the code 83027789. I hope you are able to log in. When we say robot, what comes to your mind? You can just type in any answer in that. Are you able to do it, sir?
I myself not did because I am controlling this show. The participants will do that.
Okay, if it is not visible, no problem.
Madam,
If you are not
it's
able to,
visible but not plugged in, It's visible, no doubt.
you are able to see it, sir?
Yes, madam, we are getting, but that's
Okay.
not working, Need to hide icon like that.
Okay, you have to go to the website menti.com, and when you go there, it will ask you for a code. So therein you type 83027789. If you are not able to do so, no problem. You can just type in your messages. In the message, you can type in what comes to your mind when you use the word robot. You can just type in the chat. Okay. I'm not able to see any answer. Any one of you, what do you think? What comes to your mind when I use the word robot?
It's a machine, something machinery. It's not a human being. It's not a real human being.
Okay, not a human being. That's good. Okay. A machine.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to say. That's how you'll be talking about that comes to your mind is the one which is not human being, but it might be a machine or something.
Yeah.
And when we say robots, usually what we think is it's something complex, but actually it is something which will ease the effort of human being is considered to be a robot. So that is what we find the application of robots in every field. Okay, so let us start with the basic because as I hope most of you are not from the engineering background, that's the reason I'm going with the basics. In between, we'll have some videos to watch so that it will be an exploration of what it is. Okay, so when we define a robot, it is a device. It's not like a machine or something, but it's a device that performs functions which are ordinarily ascribed to human beings or operates with what appears to be almost human intelligence. Or whenever we talk about a robot, there are three key words which should come to our mind. That is programmable, multifunctional, manipulator. What I mean by this is any robot, you will be able to program it as per the requirement. And the robot should be able to execute multi functions because when we are developing a robot, it should be able to do many tasks, not a single task. And while doing that task, and when I am having a program set of instructions, in that case, if it comes with some obstruction, it should be able to manipulate and should be able to execute the end task. So that's the reason you say it to be a manipulator. So for this task, it can move materials, part tools, or some special devices. So this is how the Robotics Industries Association defines the robot as. In general, when we are talking about a robot, the basic robots, you will have the base and arm assembly. This type of it, you call it as base and arm assembly, in which on the base, you'll have a simple example. When we are talking about a robot, even in your hand is an example of a robot. So with respect to it, this whatever shoulder is the thing, it becomes your base. This becomes your arm. So for this one, we have the degrees of freedom in X, Y, Z directions. Whereas this arm and this wrist, they are known as my wrist assembly. In this one, the degrees of freedom is defined as you can roll your wrist, and at the same time you can move your hand right to left. That is known as my yaw. And this up and down movement of your wrist assembly is known as pitch. So these are the degrees of freedom, basic degrees of freedom for any robotic manipulator. So that's how when we talk about a robot, it can be a mechanical device that resembles a human and is capable of performing variety of complex human tasks. So it's a device that operates automatically or by remote control. And when we talk about robots, it's not a something which is developed in recent past. Age old, that is before 270 BC itself, we had the development that occurring in the field of robotics. So a clock was developed in 270 BC. So that's how when we talk about robots, it's not something which is complex, but in our day-to-day activities also, whatever we come across, we can say it's a robot because if it is able to manipulate
Sorry,
and
madam, we're not seeing any slide. Just you are on the first slide. Just click on the particular slide.
you are
Okay.
not able to see the slideshow.
Yes. Now clock is invisible. Yes.
Once again, I'll put it in slideshow mode and one. Is it visible now? The clock?
Yes, ma'am.
This is okay. Perfect.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So you can see this is something, a clock that was developed in 270 BC. Okay. Then when we are talking about, let us just have a short history of robots. You can see that in 350 BC, the Greek mathematician has developed a mechanical bird that dubbed the beetle. And this was propelled by steam. So when we talk about robots, it's not just about the use of the electronics, but it can use your mechanical systems also. And nowadays we also have robots, and the advanced version, what we see right now is the drone technology. The drones are being used everywhere. In the field of medical industry also they are used, even in the defense industry they are being used right now. So whatever a version, advanced version right now we are seeing, but that was developed in 350 BC itself. So when we are talking about the clocks also, it was developed in 270 BC, wherein a pipe organ called hydraulics was used and water clocks with movable figures was developed. So this were used most accurately until the invention of your pendulum in 17th century. Then we talked about in 1801, wherein the industrial revolution started. In British, we had to there was a build of automated loom, and this was controlled by punch cards. So this is how, with the development of computers, even the robotic field was developed. And in 1880, we have the artificial life form that was created. And the first word of robotics was defined by Isaac Asimov, who is considered to be the father of robotics, or he was the one who wrote about the laws of robotics. He came up with, when he has developed a science fiction, he came across the word called as robot. And thereby he had predicted the rise of this powerful robotic industry. And he wrote about the run around, a story about robots. And the term robot was first used in a play. Okay, so it was like now we can see the movies also being made with the robots. And after this slowly we had the cybernetics, and this whatever we are talking about, the emergence of artificial intelligence. This was not right now evolved, but in 1948 itself, we had the cybernetics, an influence on artificial intelligence. That was the research paper that was published in Nobel winner. Then the robotic company was developed in 1956. So coming to the three laws of robot, A robot may not injure a human or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. This is considered to be the basic zeroth law of robotics. A robot must obey the orders it by human beings, except when such orders would conflict with first law. Okay, so that means it should be not injure the human beings. That is what we are talking about it. Though we have drones that are being used in the defense industry, we are not using the term robot because it will be violating this law. That's the reason we use a different terminology for that. Okay. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Okay. So that means the robots are developed to help the humanity but not harm the humanity. This is what was predicted. And we have seen the development of robots in terms of Star Wars, the Stanford cart, a chair filled room without human assistance. This is all. Nowadays, we see that the robots, and robots are the ones which have played a vital role during our COVID 19 period also. The robots were the ones which were assisting human in hospitals, in providing the medicines, in cleaning of the rooms, everything that was being assisted initially with the robots. So that means as and when we have to develop for the comfort and for the humanity the robots. Then the Pathfinder lands on Mars. This is also the whatever is being developed. The rover, as you know, that the rovers was developed for the Mars to find the opportunity, and this is also a robotic system. So all this, whatever development we are doing, it should be in line with having to help the humanity. And you have seen the new versions coming in. The first humanoid robot was developed in 2005 by Honda, which was known as Asimo robot. Now we can see many developments occurring with respect to it. Now, when we talk about the current robotic limits, we need to have the historic review. Whenever we are talking about robot, we need 6 precision joints between the robot base and the manipulator extreme. As I said, we need to have 3 degrees of freedom in the base and arm assembly, and the arm and the wrist assembly. So totally we need at least 6 degrees of freedom between different joints. So what is a joint and all also we'll be discussing. And it should be simple and intuitive programming. If it is a complex one, it will be difficult for the adaptation, because adaptation to the environment by sensorial simulations. As I said, when we are talking about the definition, it should be a manipulator. A manipulator when it will be able to sense the mistakes or any obstructions. It should be able to predict what the distance is and all about, and should be able to work with it. And the movement margin in ranges of 0.3 mm. And it should have a capability to manipulate weights until 150 kgs. And it should have point-to-point movement control, trajectory follow-up, and it should be able to synchronize with mobile targets and compatible with PCs. High reliability, that means it should be able to work with the same precision for number of times. I can say reliability is measured in terms of repeatability. Okay, repeatability means it should be able to do the task again and again with the same precision. And it should have an artificial vision that includes at least orientation and recognition capability. For this one, we need different sensors and coordination of different parts of the unit. Capability of trajectory correction. That means when it is moving, if there are any obstructions also, how it should retrack its path. That is what is meant by trajectory, mobility, movement optimization. At the same time, there should be energy conservation, and it should be able to have voice communication if it is possible, and at the same time should be able to carry out the security laws also. So that's how we talk about the various robotic requirements whenever we are talking about it. So when we are talking about the various robotics, let me just have a small video wherein the robots can be utilized in the kitchen. You can say that it's a robo kitchen or something like that. Okay. Let me just stop this sharing. So I hope the video is visible.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yeah. So this is one of the nowadays in the restaurants also we are having the robo kitchens that are being
Artificial
developed.
intelligence is
They
currently
are
being used in
being
many
used
industries.
based upon the
But do you
artificial
wonder how much
intelligence.
more it can make our lives easier? Well, at Robo's Kitchen in Hyderabad, robots are serving and treating customers. Foods, drinks, cocktails, you name it, and a team of 4 robots will be at your service.
So it's our exploration with the new technology, how we can have the
because it's a unique idea
revolutionize
where robots are
the
going to
current
serve food
technologies
to
or
our
current
customers.
requirements
So we
and have a
implemented
new
it
startups.
in
So
last 3 to
nowadays,
4 months.
whenever we
It
go
took
for
us to
NBA,
build a
NAG,
restaurant
all
and
those
start
things, we
testing
talk
the
about
concept
entrepreneurial
in
skills
Hyderabad
being
because
development in the
there are many
students.
IT
So it's
oriented
not
people
like
in
they
Hyderabad.
should
So
have a
that was the reason that we should
entrepreneur
go
or
for
skill or
robots in
something like
Hyderabad.
that. But whatever they see in their day-to-day life, be it a food industry, you can revolutionize
So these
using the
robots
new
are
technology.
actually having
And
sensors
this will be
on
a
the front,
breakthrough for them.
where if at all someone comes in between the robot, then it automatically stops. It is a little bit of interactive as well, where if someone comes in front of it, it politely says, "Excuse me, please give me way." Also, when the food is served on the table, the robot says, "Enjoy the food" or "Enjoy the ambience" and that kind of thing. It is run on battery, where you have to charge for 3 hours, and it works for more than 8 hours. It has no maintenance at all. It is a very low maintained robots.
So because it's been working for 8 hours continuously, then the charging will be there. So this is how, based upon the requirement and applications, we can utilize the robots. So coming to the elements of robot, a robot is made up of several elements of hardware and software. Coming to the hardware, the components of robotic manipulator consists of manipulator, end of arm tooling, actuators, transmission elements. And at the same time, we have control system wherein various types of controllers are being used, and you use computer system as a microprocessor, user interface, and controller software. So coming to first thing, the basic requirement when we are building a robot is to understand about the joint. A robot joint is a mechanism that permits relative movement between parts of a robot arm. And this, whatever joints are there, as I said, we are the biggest example of robots. So for us also, there are different types of joints because of which we have our locomotion or relative motion. So in a similar way, because when we are talking about the robot which is assisting us in execution of tasks, it should be like a replica of what we are. So that's the reason we have the joints, and these joints we classify them as prismatic or revolute joints. Prismatic joints are sliding, or you can say they are linear joints. These are because the cross section of the joint is considered as a general prism, and they have a linear relationship. Whereas revolute joints permit angular motion between links. The variations are it may be a rotational joint, twisting joint, or a revolving joint. So you can see these are the various types of joints. It's like this is one joint, this is another joint. So this will be moving like this linearly. Or I can have this movement with this, or I can have a linear movement like this. But these are my prismatic joints. But when I talk about the rotational joint, this is my rotational joint. Okay, I may have it rolling, or it can be the based upon this. I can have this twisting joint, or I can have two joints perpendicular to each other, and between them the rotation. So these are the various joints by which I can have the various types of motions. Okay, as I said already, for the degrees of freedom between the body and arm assembly and wrist assembly. So body and the base assembly, you have vertical motion, that is z-axis motion. This enables the robot to take its end effector to different heights. I hope you have been to supermarkets or hypermarkets, wherein we also see the forklift truck, or you can see the forklift trucks being used even in railway stations, wherein you have the truck taking the load, placing it in the container and removing it. So there you will see the z-axis movement. The heights are being varied. Even that attachment is also a type of robotic manipulator. So as when we see the things around, we come across several examples of robot. Okay. Then the radial motion. This enables the robot to move its end effector radially to reach distant points. Then right to left motion. This enables the robot to place its arm in any direction on the horizontal plane. So as I said, for the wrist assembly, this is known as my wrist assembly. This wrist assembly is the one which will be executing the end task by the robot. So for this one, the degrees of freedom are your rolling, pitching, as you say, up and down motion. Of the waves, when we are talking about waves, you have the pitch. So that is your pitching. Or yaw. Yaw is your rotational, twisting movement. On a horizontal plane, the movement is right to left is known as yaw. So these are the different movements depend upon my revolute joints. So for the rotation, my revolute joint should be T type of joint. Whereas for the pitch and yaw, I'll be using the rotational joint, which I'll be representing by R type of a joint. Coming to the types of robot, as I said, I'm just covering the basics. Then after that, I'll discuss about example also. So coming to the industrial robots, they are designed in a variety of shapes and sizes. Okay, so with respect to it, you can have the classification of robots based upon the physical geometry of the manipulator or the complexity of the path in which the manipulator can move. So you may have some robots just for pick and place. Or if I want to have the welding being carried out, it has to be a continuous process. Then I can use this welding robot. Or the robots are also used in automotive industry for spray painting. As you see that for the car, you should have very thin layer, uniform layer of the paint. So for that purpose also we use the manipulator. So what is the path it should cover? At what speed, velocity it has to cover? It is how the robots will be defined. And the type of source that is being used by the manipulator. It can be electrical, hydraulic or pneumatic. Hydraulic is we'll be using the fluids. Pneumatic refers to your compressed air. Whenever it has to take more loads or something, we prefer hydraulic type of a manipulator. Whereas if it is having the supply of compressed air, then better to go for pneumatic because you don't need any filter system or something. They can use for medium loads. For small loads and quick response, we go for the electrical type of manipulators. And these manipulators can be servo and non-servo. What I mean by this is, if we take a simple switch, we have just on off button, and when I press the button, if the light comes, it's on. If even when I on the button, the light may not switch on. In that case, I'll not know what is the problem with the switch, right? That means I'm not having the feedback as to what the problem is. Such a system, I'll say it to be a non-servo. I don't know what is the problem. But nowadays, for the home automation, now when you are using one switch, anywhere from any place, you switch on your AC or a fan, and if no one is there at home, you can just switch it off. How do I do that? If there's someone or not to be known, I get a feedback signal. If based upon the feedback system, if the manipulator is working, because even this home automation system is a part of your robotic system. Robot, as I said, it's just a assist the human effort. So you may use a sensor system, you get a feedback, accordingly you are controlling the different devices at home also. So whether the robot is stationary or mobile also, you classify the robots. Okay. Some of the classification of robots based upon mechanical configuration is, you may have only linear motions. Such a one, you call it as a Cartesian robot. You may also have a cylindrical robot, wherein the area that it will be covering will be cylindrical shape. So that's how you will be having different types of robots that are being utilized. Okay. Now, whenever we are using robots, it's important to understand how they are being utilized, what are those robots, all those things. So, before I get into further, because talking monotonously might be boring for everyone, so that's the reason I'm just discussing some more things, and in between, want to create interest about the topic, want to share the videos also. Okay, you may have a polar robot or a jointed or arm robot is the one which gives you more flexibility of area that it can cover. So these are the robots which are really used in industry based upon the application. Okay, these are the types of robots. You may have androids, mobile robots. Then I have industrial robots, the robots that are used in medical industry. Then you may have teleoperated ones or Android zoomomorphic robots. Okay. Before getting into the specifications, let me just show a video about the same. Are there any doubts? You can put across your queries also. I hope you are able to see the video.
No, madam.
You are able to see it, sir?
No, madam, please.
Okay, 1 second. Now?
It's
Are you
okay,
able-
madam. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. So now you can see in automotive industry, the assembly line will be having an assembly very serious robot. Building is being done with this area by using the same human automobile emerges from them and all those things. In that case, you select the base so that covers all those robots that are coming with the vending clock. Operate whatever the cash network is in a risk assembly, wherein the electrodes are there, it is bringing them based upon joint, it is trying to weld the part, and apart from their assembled, it goes through the assembly line. So I've just shown something called as spot welding that is being used in an automobile industry. So there are numerous robots that will be utilized in any industry. Okay. So automobile industry, you'll be using so many robots for various tasks. So for when we are using them, we need to know the specifications of robot. The main specifications is the load capacity, whether we need that mobility. As you can see in the previous example, there is no mobility for the robot. The component that we want to work with it is moving. It's the end arm, that is wrist and wrist assembly, that is having the movement. And the workspace, as you can see, each robot should have its own workspace, and it should be able to do the task with precision and repeatability. So the load capacity, the mobility. Okay, the load capacity means the maximum weight that can be taken by the robot. Okay. And the mobility is determined by the total number of independent movements that the robot will be able to take it. The workspace defines the end of arm assembly till where it can go. The volume it can cover is known as my workspace. So you can see we have already seen a Cartesian robot. So for the Cartesian robot, it is the rectangular workspace it will be covering. Okay. Whereas it is the cylindrical area that will be covered by cylindrical robot. For a jointed arm robot, it will be a spherical area that it will be covering. This is how the workspace will be defined. Okay. Agility is nothing but the two parameters that are measured is the maximum velocity and maximum acceleration. When it is, as you have seen the welding, when it is moving, while moving it moves with a maximum velocity. But when it is doing the task of welding or something, there should be a deceleration. Okay, so all this agility should be maintained based upon the application. Okay, then we have the precision and repeatability. Precision is the capability to position the terminal element at a point in its workspace. That means it should be able to, when I say it has to go to a particular location, there only it should be able to reach it. Repeatability is it should be able to reach the same point again and again. Okay, because what happens is, for repeatability itself, we are using robots, because if we are doing some repetitive task, we are more prone to the fatigue, isn't it? If I go on saying the same sentence again and again, it will make the same seminar very boring, because nobody is having that stamina to listen to the same thing again and again. That causes us fatigue. So even human beings are more prone to fatigue whenever they're doing some task. So to overcome that, we have this repeatability being executed by the robots. Okay, so the robots normally work in contaminated environment or under extreme temperatures. Nowadays, robots are being developed even for sewerage cleaning, because usually we are talking about Mars rover or the space robots or something, or for the defense. But the basic requirement, a robot should be something that should assist the human being. And we know that every year how many deaths are occurring when the GHMC, or I can say that the municipal workers, while doing the work in the sewerage lines. So that's the reason we need to develop robots that will assist them. The problem in this is, as of now, the robot can go to a certain length. The development of the flexible telescopic arms. Okay, telescopic means as and when the length can be increased based upon the requirement. We need to work on different materials wherein we can use telescopic arms for the purpose. Okay, The roles and jobs of robots is they can be a computer assisted manufacturing, they can be used in military, medical, space exploration, or for the personal purpose also. Okay. Then you can use in computer assisted manufacturing in car industry, general packaging. This was the initial robots that were used even for cleaning purposes, mail processing, etc. As I said, you can have computer GPS guided bombs. Nowadays, we use the smart bombs. Okay, movement of troops and weapons, advanced war weapons. Uh, at the defense, we are seeing many drones technology is being developed, so that we need not go to the particular location. But with the drone technology, you can have the bullets. There's a technology, the project that is being executed. One of the projects is a robot drone with a rifle that can, in 1 minute, it can fire 600 bullets with AK-47 gun. So that means if it is within the target location, with the 600 bullets, at least it can injure many people. So that's the reason, though it is being used in military, it should be with a purpose. In medical, we have prosthetic limbs that were being developed. We have pacemakers, dialysis machines, heart rate monitors, blood pressure machines. Nowadays, you can see in the robots also. As I said, robot is just a device which will assist the humans. As you know that, as we are all aware, India is becoming more and more a diabetic country. So nowadays, for the people who are having a diabetic history, especially type B diabetics, they are instigating a small chip within the shoulder or within the body, and you can measure the sugar levels as and when required. Whenever there's a fluctuation or something, you get an output result being indicators in your phone. So that's how that information will also be passed to your doctor. So when we are talking about a robot, it can be a small chips also. And previously, what they used to do is, in the medical industry, if you want to have the what do you say, internal organ scanning and all, you had to go through the endoscopy, colonoscopy, wherein they used to push a pipe inside, and that was the toughest task. Instead of that, now we are developing nano robots. A nano robot will be a very small, as we have seen the emergence of nanomaterials. With that, when a small robot is being designed, wherein the patient will be eating it as a tablet, and this nano robot will be traveling across the body. As it travels, it captures the various organs movement, how they're the condition and all, and you'll be able to know the state. So that's how the robots are being helping in the medical industry also. As we know, we have a space exploration, we have humanoid robot to assist astronauts, then virtual reality. Now, whatever you see, our kids are getting attached to the systems. It is because of these games and everything. Okay. Then stereoscopic vision, dexterous hands, the various applications are there. Personal, we have computers, refrigerators. When I said robot, as I said, even your blender is a example of a robot. Usually we say that a robot is something very complex, nothing as such. Okay, your robot can be your watch or a GPS system. That is also an example of a robot. So when we want to start with the robots also, okay, so that's how, always whenever you want to start with any simple mechanism or something, you have to understand what a robot is, where its application, how I can build it up. Okay, there are various applications, smelting, that is the various industries are there for soldering purpose, material applications. Okay, these are the various ways in which we can use the robots. The assembly operations, even we see the Intel ad in the Intel ad that you see in the system, in the ads, you can see the various robotic arms placing the various small electronic components on a motherboard. Okay. The inspection can be done with the robots, the cutting mechanism. All these are the applications of robots. What is the advantages is, okay, as the population, the robot helps our population greatly by technology advancement and helps in the overall health of a society. We have the medicinal advancement, and wherein we have labor intensive activities, there we can use the robots. Then for the mathematical and statistical computations also we can use the robots. And where the regions where it is not safe for the humans, we can use the robots. Okay. But at the same time, does the robots lead to the replacement of jobs, or will it lead to the world of wars? This is something which we need to understand when we are talking about robots, because nowadays it's not the human, but due to the robotic technology also we see various, though we say it is biomedical wars or something, but something it may can lead it. So it all depends upon how we utilize the robots, how its technology is being used. We need to understand. Let me show a small video that is developed by my students initially before developing with the robotic pneumatic cord robot that was utilized, that has been patented. I hope you are able to see the video.
Yes, yes.
Initially, a 3D model is being made, and we check about in the various joints how the motions can be. After that, each of these components will be manufactured, and after manufacturing, there will be test runs, and after the test runs, we try to assemble them. As you can see, it's not like it's a complex thing. You know, it is always important. First, we need to simulate it. Prepare a model of the manipulator that we want to build it. And once we know that, and once the design is completed, then proceeds to assembly. Arms that being fabricated in I hope the slideshow is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes.
yeah. After the development of that pick and place robotic arm. We have developed pneumatic quad robot. This pneumatic quad robot also got patented. With me, there's a professor from EC department. We have filed the patent in 2020, and in 2021 we have got a patent grant. This is the complete robot that is being used, and in this case you can see it's a pneumatic quad robot. And this robot actually we developed initially for a competition by DRDO, wherein we wanted to develop a robot to work on all terrains. And as you know that the military people will be carrying so much of load on their back, so it's something like a robotic dog that we wanted to develop. But usually robotic dog will be costing in lakhs of rupees, but this complete robotic arm which is fabricated and developed was in less than 50,000 we could develop it. It's an in-house development. So the methodologies we did understand what is the physics for it, what is the kinematics. Then we did the
Just you
various
joining that webinar,
calculations.
same link
We did
you take
structural
the registration
analysis
for
with
today's running 5
subsequent
minutes webinar.
iterations. Then we have decided what could be the final design, and we have come up with the final design. Because of I think we have the seminar till 8 o'clock. So that's the reason I'm just running through the slides. This is how we have done the calculations. Because when we talk about the actuators, how the actuator, how much it should be, all those calculations we have referred to the NPTEL material also, the strokes and everything. Then the tank design
शान
was
साहब वॉइस
done.
नहीं आ रहा.
I'm not
हमें आ रहा है
audible.
सर, हमें आ रहा है, आपके पास ही नेट प्रॉब्लम होगा सर.
Okay, I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, yes, madam, you are audible.
Okay,
Some
thank you.
network issue is there. Yes.
Okay. So the various simulations between the robotic links with the movements, how it should move and all that, we have to first simulate it, because getting it fabricated, it is a cost effective one. So once we
शान
simulate
सर
it,
ऑडियो नहीं आ रहा.
हमें आ रहा है सर, आपके पास
मैडम
प्रॉब्लम आप
है,
रीजाइन
आपके
कीजिए.
पास नेटवर्क इशू होगा शायद. हमें आ रहा है बदिउद्दीन सर. Some network issue is there from your side.
नहीं आ रहा है तो हमारा भी नहीं आ रहा है, बोल के भी क्या फायदा. चलो
सर आप एक टाइम लॉग आउट करके रीजॉइन कर लीजिए
सुनने
सर.
पे आप आ रहे हो, इसलिए आप क्या सुनेंगे अपने इंस्ट्रक्शंस. कोई बात नहीं, आप कंटिन्यू करो. मैं आपको
अच्छा.
पीपीटी भेज देता, यूट्यूब
Okay.
लिंक भेज देता.
Madam,
Okay. Okay. So we have done the various joints, linkages and roll cage, the pressure vessel, all this were designed. These are the various components using which we could build up the final, the geometry analysis, whether it will be able to take up that load or not. When it is in joints, there is a twist and everything. So we carry out its analysis, how much deformation may come. All this analysis was done, and this was the final design. This is how the model was planned. As you know that when we practically go about it, there are various circuits and all this. We need the live USB camera and the tracking with the system, then interfacing with an IoT based system. All this was done, and this is how a robotic dog was developed. And this was used for deliver packages in military areas, navigate through rough terrain, and it this type of robot, as it is having camera, it can send information to various regions also. Okay, we can utilize it for pick and place objects. So these are the robots that are developed in various countries. This is how it is carrying the multiple loads. As we are educational institution, it's not such a modified version, but it can be utilized. As you can see, the same robotic dog you can utilize at the household purpose also. I hope I could share some of my knowledge. Thank you for your patience hearing. If there are any queries, you can put across.
Madam, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I'm Dr. Badiuddin Ahmad. Of course, I'm not from this robotics field. My field is commerce and management. But I've listened to your lecture. It was very wonderful But I have one small query that when you said that it has been evolved right back in 270, what is the reason why it took so much time to get popularized for common man or for scientific usage or in any other field of this what you call human or needs? Like you said, it has been in medication, in defense, in many areas, in the sectors, this robotics is being used. Having evolved in 270 BC, what could be the reason for slow progress of this robotics in India, especially in India?
Yes, sir. The thing is, it all depends upon how we utilize the technology as a boon or a bane. So the robotics area is emerging. With respect to it, there is several. In India, we don't have the technical support, so much support with respect to it. As you can see, the refined version, the last slide, the version how the robots are developed, the finish of machines, the CNC machines and precision machines are not available for us. Whereas the robot we have developed, it is being used for purpose, but the refinement and finish is not so much. So we are still in the improving stage only, sir. But
If you compare with the developed nations, if like Germany and other US and other, they've been very way ahead of India, and India is good at the science and mathematics in English. It could have been done very.
The problem, as I said, is the manufacturing industry is not developing as much as service sector industry. If we see India's growth rate, the GDP is being contributed more by the service industry.
Exactly.
And we see the growth of Gujarat because of the development of manufacturing industry. And one manufacturing job will simultaneously create 10 jobs. This is where we are not focusing. If the manufacturing industry develops, definitely there's a lot of scope for us. Yes.
One thing
I
you
hope
said
I could answer.
One other thing that you said in your lecture that this is programmed, robotics are programmed. There's a human element which is really responsible for the development of robotics. Don't you think that there may be the probability of having sort of mistakes or oversights while programming, and the results would be different, reverse one? Had it happened, or what would be the consequences of such events?
So that's the reason whenever we write a program, we do a dry run, or you can say offline simulation. So with the simulation, we'll be able to know whether it is able to do the accomplished task. Then only we'll do it on field, the testing. So that's the reason I said, even for the fabrication, we do the simulation first. Test it, then fabricate it. And after fabrication, also, we try to see whether whatever program we are feeding, is it able to execute it properly or not. So then only we'll be using it on the on-load condition. I hope I'm clear, sir.
Yeah, but in precisely we can say that it is the superior is the human element. Though we are taking the support of robotics for the working, it cannot be substitute to the human being, but it is a supplementary to the human.
It is supplementary only. As we all know that when we are working with computers also, it's like whatever you dump in the program, it gives a dump out. But as human beings, we should be able to understand whether it is right or wrong.
Yes.
So it's the human intelligence. Though we say artificial intelligence cannot precede human intelligence.
Human intelligence. So we need to take a lot of care while programming this.
Yes.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Jalveer Singh sir, you have some query?
नमस्ते मैडम.
नमस्ते सर.
मैडम मेरा ये कहना है कि जो रोबोटिक सिस्टम है उसने काफी आसान काम किया है व्यक्ति का. इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि डेंजर जो काम थे हमारे उनको आसान किया है. मेरा एक सवाल ये है कि जो रोबोटिक सिस्टम है जो ये आगे अधिक बढ़ता है तो क्या रोजगार पर इसका प्रभाव पड़ेगा?
नहीं सर, दैट यूजुअली हम समझते हैं कि रोबोट्स आ जाएंगे तो रोजगार पे इफेक्ट होगा. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. बिकॉज आप अगर एक रोबोट डेवलप कर रहे हैं उसके साथ साथ आपकी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री बढ़ेगी. एंड प्रोग्रामिंग के लिए स्किल सेट, क्रिएटिविटी भी ज़रूरी है हर किसी के लिए. ये पूरे कॉन्सेप्ट्स के वजह से, though we say like robots are replacing humans, we may lose jobs, but we don't see the in depth that it is creating much more jobs for the skilled person. The only thing is you need to have more skilled person. I hope I'm clear, sir.
Ugade sir, there is a
Thank you,
question in
ma'am.
chat box.
Thank you, sir.
Question
Yeah.
in chat box from Vilas Sonone sir, Principal Sonone sir.
G. There's a query saying that can you please explain the calculation behind the movement of the legs of robotic dog worked with respect to pressure? Okay, so when we are talking about this robotic calculations, we need to determine between the joints the acceleration, okay, and velocity diagram between the joints. At the same time, for the joint movement, we are using a cylinder. So this cylinder, what pressure, that movement, you need to have the knee bending and all those things. So how it is being done, all those calculations are done. If you need it, you can personally, I'll just put my email ID. If anybody is interested for further discussion, you can just write to me. I'll get back to you. Because of the time constraint, I could not explain all the calculations. I posted my email ID in the chat.
Madam, there is a question from Principal Sonone sir, Vilas Sonone sir. What are the advantages of robotics in future?
Robotics, we find numerous applications, be it in your home. Now we are developing a robot for home cleaning purpose. Even your dishwasher, whatever is the thing, is also application. So we find numerous application in every walk of life in robots. So we have to develop robots for human general purpose. Then in the medical industry, even the surgeries are being accomplished with the help of robots. Along with it, we can see in the defense, automobile industry, almost even movie industry, the graphics, everything is being assisted with the robots also. So we can see in every field its application. It is we who have to explore where and how we can utilize them.
Okay, Swanand Shukla sir, please unmute.
Hello, good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Hello. Yeah, am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir, perfectly.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Madam, thank you very much for explaining the robotics and the future of the robotics and really where we are using. In the various movies, we are seeing the robotics and the wars of robotic and human beings also. So many of the times, means it has happened that in movies they had shown we have landed on moon and we really landed on moon. So these are our ideas and these are our, our motives and we follow it. So yes, definitely from simple things like food processor to washing machine, all program is set and you don't have to do anything. In washing machine, the mixing of the clothes with the warm water, then soap is getting added, then they are getting dried and everything is happening, automatically. Human agency doesn't have to play a role. So nowadays, what I have learned, I'm from the medical background. Robotic surgeries are becoming wonderful, because they are planned, they are programmed, and the errors which are taking place with the human hands, because many of the times, our emotions are also playing a role.
Yes.
So many of the times, nowadays the robotics are playing a role, and you have already mentioned about nano robotics. The nano robotics,
Yes.
they will not just will help in curative purpose or diagnostic purpose, but also they will make us recognize our coming illness, so we can utilize them as a preventive aspect also. So very as soon as there is any alteration in the cell count or something like that, any kind of pathology is there, we will get intimation about those things. So that is a real future life, and definitely robotic is one of the wonderful, what I can say, it is a boon for humankind, because at some place in movies they were showing that the person lost his hand.
Yes.
And then placed the other hand, the artificial hand, robotic hand. But nowadays it is a reality. it is a reality now. So this is also very much there. So thank you very much. And we really, we got to know many different facets, the depth of, robotics. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your presentation. Thank you, sir.
Definitely. So thank you, sir. We are also working right now with bionic arm, wherein based upon this muzzle movement sensors, the hand movements for the fingers, gripping and all will be given.
Yeah.
So we are working on that. So definitely,
Yeah, when we are
anytime
moving
if
our
you're
hand, the
interested.
robotic also works.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anytime further interested with that field also, you can get back to us. Sir. That's the reason I provided the email ID. Thank you, sir. Have a nice weekend.
Sharan Basappa sir have raised the hands. Sharan Basappa sir, please.
Library, what types of robotic using, madam?
Library, sir?
Library, what types of robotic using?
In library, which types of robotics are
In
used?
library, yes. In library, we need to have vision sensor system. With the vision sensor system, it will be reading the barcode, and sorting can be done, and placing. Pick and place type of robots are being used with vision sensor system with a feedback. And in robotics can also be used in a library system. So it will be pick and place with camera assisted one.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
I want a small my question that so much of thinking, making the human, age is getting reduced. You can we have been observing that quite last decade and a half, that the more development into the scientific, especially robotics, artificial intelligence, all the development, slowly the reducing the age of the human being, the superiority of the human being, the nature, the creation of the God, so human being, their importance slowly getting reduced because of this machine, because of this artificial intelligence, other robotics. See, the number of, we think that the age is very much, slowly the age is getting reduced. People are off from this world within 45 and 50. See, most of scientists. Do you think that is there any negative impact of this scientific development on the human?
No, sir. Actually, it is not the impact of scientific development, but it is because of the way we started our living. Because we think everyone to be a competition, and we start living in stress instead of understanding everything. That is the reason now we have by AICT something called Universal Human Values that is being incorporated as a course and credit course in AICT colleges. Very soon it will be also implemented in UGC colleges also, because that is how we are forgetting the human values. Nowadays we only talk about competition, rat race or something like that. So as to come up out of from that mind frame, we have the new NEP policy, wherein the student has the flexibility about choosing the subjects or the coursework, shift over, all those things. Else, what is happening is in 4 years or 3 years, he has to study that particular subject, always in pressure. Due to that stress levels, all this changes. It is not because of the technology enhancement.
Madam, sorry to interrupt you that the new education policy is stressing on the teaching of all subjects in the local language, in the mother tongue. Do we have sufficient information of this robotics and scientific artificial, or it is being in the process of development that, because it is percolating down to the rural areas? And coming years, NEP will be definitely likely to be in rural areas. Will the rural people will get the advantage of this?
Yes, that is the reason. Another initiative, because I also work with UHV and AICT, other things. Whatever technical books are also there, they are also being converted into the local languages, because the touch that comes in talking in your local language will have more impact than an international language. But at the same time, everyone should know the international language to prove ourselves in the international market. Because at the end of the day, we are a global citizen.
Government is saying that it will be more beneficial if you could develop people from their own mother tongue. That is a new education policy thrust point. And I'm afraid that technical subjects can be really translated into through machine learning translation in the proper way so that they can understand it and can implement it. That is a big fear being existing among the all higher education institutions.
Until we jump into the pond, we'll not know the depth of it. So let us wait and watch. This is what I can say.
That's hope for the best. That's only we can say.
Yes. जब तक पानी में कूदेंगे नहीं तो समझ में नहीं आएगी गहराई क्या है.
बिल्कुल सही है, बिल्कुल सही है.
तैर पाएंगे या नहीं पाएंगे.
The robotics is very dangerous also. It's almost when we are showing all the advantage. इतने ही danger है कि we will somewhere landing in no man's land in the it seems like that.
It's all our perspective, sir. आपको स्क्रू ड्राइवर दिए तो स्क्रू ड्राइवर से आप स्क्रू भी खोल सकते हैं या किसी का सर भी फोड़ सकते हैं. So it's all our perspective.
Indian thoughts इतना strong नहीं है कि we are using mostly this is being misused rather useful purpose.
Yes. It's all as faculty. It's our responsibility to use it in the best possible way and teach our students also to use it for the best ways. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Badiuddin sir, Jaivir Singh sir, Mayuresh Sonone sir, Swanand Shukla sir, Sharam Basappa sir. You nicely discussed with today's keynote speaker on the topic today. Now I request the chief organizer of the series, Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. M. Bedkar, please come with few words. Please welcome, sir.
Thank you, Prashant sir. And today's resource person, Dr. Ishrat, Meera, Mirzana madam, who is Director EWA India, Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, R&D Coordinator, MUFFAKHAM, Jaha College of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad, Telangana. In introduction, I have just said that she is from Hyderabad, Telangana, but slide was not with me. So sorry for that. And we congratulate you, madam. You got the patent in the field of robotics. Up till my knowledge up to the robotics was limited to such that there is a human structure who is working as per the instructions, working in the field of as per requirement. But robotics is not just a human like structure, but it is a machinery. Means can be used in industry, also in medical sector. How it is developed, what is the history of that, how it is can it replace human technology, human resources. All these points you have also given very clearly. Some calculation also you have given and explained in the answer also. So it was the basic information. We were very curious about the what are the robotics and what are the applications about it. You explained all the things. Also you have shown the project of your students. It shows your active guidance to the students. We congratulate you to your all work, and in future also if you have new any technology with you, we welcome you, madam. Thank you for your best presentation, useful presentation, informative presentation today. Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, Bedkar sir, for this opportunity. I'm thankful to Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa for this opportunity that I could be part of your webinar series always. Thank you, Prashant ji, for always guiding everyone, organizing this event. And thank you to one and all who have given me this opportunity. Definitely, I would love to be connected to with your college, and even with the IPR also I'm interconnected, and how to go with the patent filing, the process and all also I would like to share as and when if it is feasible. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Just
wait for formal thanks. Just wait, please.
Thank you.
Myself Prashant Ugade. I'm here for a vote of thanks. So today's topic for the World Record Series 2, which is running by Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya, and the topic was the role of robotics in every field. And keynote speaker was Dr. Meera Mirzana madam. Meera Mirzana madam with us, and you have explained this topic very nicely, clearly and sincerely. I think Madam have given whole justice to today's topic. So no point have left. Madam covered every aspect to the topics, definition of the robots, short history of the robots, and some laws regarding the robotics, as well as elements of the robots, types of joints in robots, degree of freedoms of robotics manipulators, and classification of robots on mechanical configurations, as well as robotics specifications and different applications of the robots. Means each and every aspects of the topic have covered Madam in her discussions in the session. So I am very, very thankful to you, Madam, for paid your valuable time for the sessions. Thank you very much. And again, I am very thankful to the chief organizer of the series, Honorable Principal Sir, M.M. Detkar Sir. Thank you to you for giving this opportunity, everyone, and share your views for the session. Thank you very much. And I'm also thankful Dr. Badiuddin Sir, Jaiveer Singh Sir, Mayuresh Sonwane Sir, Swanand Shukla Sir, Sharan Basappa Sir. They have shared some views and discussed with keynote speaker. So I'm very thankful to you. And some of the colleagues from my college, Dr. Kale Sir, IQAC coordinators, K.N. Kadam Sir, Garar Sir, and vocational supervisor, Praveen Udge Sir, and other my colleagues. I'm very thankful to you. And lastly, I should not forget each and every participants. They regularly joins to the series and shares some views. So all the participants, I'm very thankful to you on behalf of organizing committee members. Thank you very much. And I request all the participants, please fill the feedback link which is given in the chat box. So please have a nice day. Good night, everyone. Madam, thank you again to you for paying your valuable time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Have a happy weekend. Thank you all.